Hello there, welcome back to episode 4 of my tutorial series for Songs of SYX version 66. So, we have had a good time with the furniture last episode. I have missed out one project that is really important that we're going to use, but today we're mostly going to talk about science. So we're going to fire up the lab and have some jolly good fun with it. Just like I have promised, I have finished the woodcutter in between the episodes. So now we can just employ workers to crank out timber for us. So it's as simple as it sounds. The workers will continuously produce wood here without hurting the environment at all. So we can now just go on over to our carpenter's workshop, check out what kind of consumption there is currently occurring, and then we just need to adjust the amount of woodcutters accordingly. Roughly, I think 6 or 7 people should do the trick to keep up with the current production of furniture. But as you see there, we probably should just tune down our furniture production a wee bit. So, 18 consumption, 12 production. So, like this, we end up somewhat balanced. There we go. So now we are not going to need any wood cutting anymore. For the time being, that is. Alright, so big projects I was talking about, and that is in the services area, the lavatory. So, everybody needs some relief from time to time, and that is where that relief is being provided. So, lavatories should always be where your people are having a lot of housing and work, because that makes short trips to where you need to go. So we're setting up a standard shape for the housing, and the latrines and the basins, well, they work just like you would expect. By now, you surely have understood how the mechanics here in Songs of SYX work. Construction is always following the same rules. Here we have now a lavatory which hosts 3 employees, offers a nice amount of services, and it's good to go. It'll cost us a nice bunch of furniture yet again, but we are now in permanent construction and permanent production. So the lavatory will kick up the popularity of our city by another little notch, and then we will be able to hire the new people that we require to keep the city moving. By now, we have a constant oversupply of food and everything we require, so it's all pretty nice right now. So let's start stockpiling more meat. We still have some crates open here, so we're going to do quite well on that. And we're going to open up some of that stockpile capacity over here for stone and wood as well. Well, maybe more wood than stone. Let's go for it like this. Alright, so the warehouses will now pull wood that is being produced inside. And that is something we will utilize later. For now, we are just going to issue a couple of manual tree cuttings because our odd jobbers don't have anything to do. They might as well be useful. Wood is a constantly replenishing resource and you don't need to worry about it at all. And therefore, I can only recommend chopping some every now and then when you notice that your current building projects are not going anywhere because you're waiting for a material or two. That happens. It's okay. Okay, so the lavatory. This is now high-tech relief for our citizens. It also binds a couple of people in terms of employment, but, well, I can only say it's money well spent. Let's put it down like that. Alright, now goes the lab. So, let's see, where is it? Add this new menu. I usually only use the magnifying glass when I'm playing off camera. But here, administration, that's where the laboratory is at. This is where we produce science points. These can then be transformed into technology. Therefore, well, we need them really badly. So we're going to set up a bit of a larger room here. This is because I like to create capacity when I start building a larger, when I start sciencing. But it's up to you. You can, of course, also set up small buildings. I like this kind of setup here a lot, where we just slap in a couple of pillars and then we crowd in the stations. The neat part about the laboratories is, you might have already noticed or not, that they don't have any efficiency rating. That means you can just pile in as many tables as you can feel well with, and then call it a day. So here we have now 41 workers, and it just requires a quite moderate amount of furniture. Yeah, it does cost us some, but we can quite easily say pay that. So as you see there, lavatory does make the service happiness spike upwards like crazy. This is something you will notice very often now. Oh, with 40 people we have a new title, which changes what we can build. Import and export depots are available now, but more importantly, it also increases the pull of immigration towards our city. Very useful, very, very useful at this point. Because we now need more workers and people, that is totally important now. As we right now have a pretty decent production of everything, but we also lack in the workforce. We have enough food production to serve more people than we got right now, but we... Alright, temperatures. You have sometimes random events, but we are set here. It is very, very important that we now get more people into our city. Also, don't forget more houses. Currently, I have no idea why you should build anything else than longhouses. If the dear esteemed comment section knows why there is any reason not to build these, I'd love to know. Anyways, so we get diplomatic connections here. Sometimes your neighbors just gift you something, but most of the time your neighbors will contact you to demand something from you. Here, it's been a pretty cool thing. We have been gifted a substantial amount of vegetable. So that's really cool, because that means we have now a nice amount of food at our disposal that will just bolster our stockpiles. Humans have no specific preference for vegetables, so that food will just provide sustenance, but it will not provide happiness, apart from the happiness that large stockpiles provide. As you see here, our food clock is ticking upwards like crazy, because the vegetables are being placed into the stockpiles now. So, I want to introduce at this point the trading system, as we have now a pretty nice amount of stuff that we can trade. When you click into this screen here, you can go over here into the factions menu. So our neighbors here are the Darfin. I don't know, they are led by Tilapi, Bilbian Cretonians. Well, I don't judge. So what we are interested in is the diplomacy screen. We want to establish trade. This has a certain value to these people, 15,000 denarii. Now we need to offer either resources or slaves to weigh out this thing. So ironically, we're now going to dump the food back onto them and check out if we can fulfill the bill by just tossing all manner of building materials that we have on top of the tab. So currently, well, as it stands, we don't have enough value yet to fulfill the deal. It's kind of sad. As you see there, we're still lacking a little bit. So, comes with time. It is a goal to work towards to, and a very, very important one as well. Because the moment we have established trade with our neighbors, we can basically buy whatever we need from them via trading one material for the other. That is a mighty thing to have available. We could, for example, buy ourselves some furniture if that trade would be already up and running, but currently it's not, so we can't change it. But in that regard, it is now a really, really good idea to just keep chopping them trees and assign more crates to the timber, or we could even go as far and copy this warehouse one more time and just set up one for timber alone. There is not a single correct decision or right way to play this. Just go for your own liking. And every city is a little bit different at the end of the day. That's really something I got to say. Here at this end, I like the idea of bolstering up or trading stockpiles in this warehouse as well. So we do this. Whenever you don't like a building anymore, you can, after all, just destroy it and build something else at that spot. It is no problem, and we're going to do that in the future as well. But for now, we're just going to go nuts on the wood stockpiling, because I decided to make that our first export good that we are going to capitalize on. As I find it a pretty nice and regenerating resource, whenever you have a lot of timber in your neighborhood, it's a really good thing to go for that. At least I think so. Alright, so the laboratory is now being constructed. The quadra speed comes in super handy when you're waiting for those really long projects like we do here. And I keep checking the food clock, and as you see here, our food clock is not positive anymore. The problem is sometimes it is lying when the average on the pastures is weirding out. Yeah, there are hiccups in the display, but don't you worry. We have that fishery where we can just slap in the occasional extra worker to get this done. So here you see now a -36 popping up. That means the lab is done. For some reason the game loves to slap in every single free worker at once into the new buildings, but that is nonsense. So we are hiring all the new people. We obviously need to take care of more food, but this ain't much of a big deal as we have a heavily growing Entelodon pasture, and yeah, everything's fine. So we are assigning now 5 of our people permanently onto the science. Permanently because science in this game has a very interesting mechanic how it works. So let me explain. When we click in here, we see our tech tree. We see the available points, the allocated points, frozen points. So, knowledge in Songs of SYX is something that will decay. If we don't work on it, we will lose the knowledge again. That is why these guys in the lab have to be employed here forevermore. We see here what target research value we are striving towards to. Humans as a species, as you see here, are really good at sciencing. So we have very efficient researchers, which means either we end up with a lot of tech points, or we don't need to put a lot of worker in there to have the same result as other species at this point of the game. Either way, this is one of the advantages of the human species, and we're going to use it. We are already at 124 available tech points. The tech tree is full of wonderful things. The empire part we can totally ignore for now, as well as the refining part. We'll be getting there, but basically here we can upgrade our empire, which is everything outside of our capital, so this ain't interesting for a long time. Refining is everything that is about transforming one material into another. So currently we are not doing any of these. We're not brewing, we're not charcoaling, smeltering, or making fabrics. None of these. Infrastructure are all good things that are, well, on the higher ends. Justice, embassy points, we don't need that for a while. Neither do we need military for now. Agriculture lets you upgrade the efficiency of your agricultural businesses, from starting from woodcutters to farms, everything in between. Health is water and hospitals and doctoring, everything. Architecture gives us new roads and everything, but we are most interested right now in either husbandry, because we are really working here quite hard. We could increase the yield of our fisheries and our pastures here, but I am after the civics tab. Here we can unlock new services for our city, namely the stage and the graveyard. So we're going to start out with the graveyard. I just want to complete the tour. Crafting tech allows us to increase furniture, give us tailors and all the good things. And then there's the mining tech and the knowledge tech, which improves on the knowledge generation itself. Alright, first thing to unlock, personally love proper burial. Costs us 100 tech points, unlocks graveyards. Graveyards are really, really appealing to our people. They give us the feeling that the world is in a good state, and you will really notice a heavy influx of new migrants when you complete the first graveyard. Make it large and generous, as the graveyard should be always featuring some open graves for the next person. Graves also do empty themselves. Every couple of years, the body is fully decomposed, obviously, and the grave is free again for a new person. It's just the moment there is no grave available anymore, the service is, in the eyes of our citizens, no longer available for them. And we all know how much they hate when their services are suddenly not available anymore when we've played this game for a while. So I am aiming here for a graveyard that'll bind 3 people. That is perfectly fine. And now the decorations all increase the respect of the site. I still don't quite know what the respect value actually does, but I assume it increases the impact of the site. I've never tried to make a graveyard with a low amount of respect, because why the heck should I? So we're planting down some trees, and as you see here, a graveyard that has only 3 workers worth of burial space already requires quite a lot of little things that you need to sneak in. So we're going to pluck in a couple of flower beds wherever they can be put down. I'm trying to go for solutions that obviously don't block the walkways of our subjects, because that's again something they hate. So we're going to go for huge flower beds on this end, and I am already at 100% respect, but I do this for the sake of symmetry. As you see here, this will bind also quite a lot of resources, but I can only say it is very basic resources, and it pays off so heavily. Now, this will take a few days of work. Let's check back with our food industry. There you see it, it's all fine and dandy. It's just really important that we stay on top of these things, because you always need to monitor this. That's all I want to say. It really bites your back in whenever you forget about checking this food clock once in a while. So we got now 7 people waiting for immigration. That's a pretty nice amount of people. That also is because we have this huge influx of people now due to the graveyard. So first off, I'll be picking up all the 7 people that want to join us, because we just need a little bit more workforce. And I also want to introduce into the city just another hunter. It is never a bad thing to have 2 hunters, or, well, 8 people working as a hunter. Like I said, if I remember correctly, the diminishing returns start way later. I don't know where they are currently in version 66, by the way. So don't know if that end of the mechanics has been changed. Now, our next goal now is to set up more and more people into the lab, as they will passively generate more tech points for us. These are basically our new lifeblood. The more tech we gain, the easier our life will be. Let's fill up the hunter here as well, as hunters are stupidly efficient in terms of food production. And since humans are so kind to prefer meat as a food source, you have a really good start in terms of happiness for your people, because meat is really easy to acquire. Many other foodstuffs have a harder production chain to get there. So we're going to set up more housing. As you see there, our people are out of housing. Never let that be something that lasts longer than necessary. There we go. Setting up a few longhouses doesn't cost us much material, and it provides just what we require. In the current state of affairs, we can also just accept whoever wants to join us. That is wonderful. That's the perfect state of things. So, tech-wise, the other thing that I always love to pick up next is entertainment, which unlocks the stage. The stage is yet another building that binds a few people, but returns a lot of satisfaction there. The stage comes in different sizes, and as you see there, it also brings a different amount of workers that you can put into. There is no advantage or disadvantage in the sizes. As you see there, they just multiply the amount of workers, the amount of necessary resources, and the amount of services. So I personally would recommend to start out with the small one, because you don't really gain anything from the big one, except for the fact that you will not be able to put all the workers into, or you would not want to put all the workers into, because you don't need that much of the service. So the bigger ones are really for the later stages. Unlike the shrines, this is the stages require furniture, and therefore that's one reason to keep it small, but also the shrines require only wood and stone. No, they don't require any workers. Now I got my thoughts straight again. They don't require any workers, while the stage does. The stage does bind people. The shrines don't. Therefore, it's totally okay to build the hugest shrines right from the get-go, even if you don't need them this huge. I mean, seriously, they have a puny load at that point. You see, 2%. But that's not that much of a big deal. This one here, though, they have a pretty decent load here. So people now grow happier because of the stage, as usual. Let's see how this will develop. It always takes a little bit of time. Don't judge the fulfillment of a service just after a day or two. You should always wait it out a little bit. So we're cashing in the new workers here. We have still more than enough food available for ourselves. The tech points just keep coming, and that is an excellent thing. So the next thing that I want to unlock is paved roads. So paved roads allows us to build better roads than the dirt roads. So let's get into road science. So dirt roads only yield a 10% fulfillment. They have a very low durability, which means they need to be repaired constantly, and they yield a pretty low speed bonus. So dirt roads keep your janitors very busy while maintaining a very slight bonus, so they're pretty much worth it. So then there's the cobblestone road, yielding a the same fulfillment as the dirt road, for humans that is. As you see there, every race has a different preference there. Only Cretonians and Tilapi would be really happy with these. We are aiming for the paved road, which is the humans' preferred road, and Cretonians and Tilapi don't like them again, on the other hand. 50% fulfillment will mean a lot. Also, double the speed bonus and 5 times the durability. Or is it? No, not 5 times, 2.5 times, I'm sorry. This is a real huge upgrade, and when you click the convert button here, you can just do this, and there goes. Every dirt road now is going to be converted into a paved road, just easy cheesy like that. This will make your people faster and happier, so it is just a straight out win for them. Also, when you're starting to build roads, you will notice that the mesh grid changes and shows you where your people would be loving some roads. The bright spots are areas where people are traveling a lot, but there's no road present yet. So take that as an inspiration. All right. So I'll fasten up fasten up is a different wording. Ugh. Well, no native speaker, you sometimes notice the brain wants to just make some garble. Well, we are speeding up the game and watch those roads grow. While we're doing so, I want to check out the environmental tab. Here you see that the road preference happiness is growing upwards. That's just what we're looking for, and all these little things, they help you getting a stronger immigration pull. Immigrational pull is extremely important for your city. You will be just lost in the rain without it. So we're going to clear some rock now, because we now need to have some stone in our stockpiles always. Not only do we have the roads that need stone for the sake of maintenance, we also need the stone for various other things, like trade. And all the stone that's lying around there is okay. So, for whatever reason there is, the Hilapi give us gifts while we're still poor. The problem is just they will put their demands on us later as well, so... For now, I'll be just putting up the grain crate, while I'm waiting for my stone stockpiles to fill. So we're also going to employ now a bigger regiment of woodcutters, because wood is now also a trading resource, not only a construction resource. Therefore, we want larger stockpiles of that. So, science-wise, we are already on a really good spot. What we can unlock next is refined tastes, which will allow us to upgrade our food stalls. So, after that comes the tavern, which we're also going to unlock at the same time. So, food stall unlocks require something we don't have yet, pottery. So, to get that done, I think we will have to trade with our pesky neighbors. So, well, let's see if we can rack up enough value of goods here. You should never, by the way, chop trees in an area where you want to put up your woodcutters next, because your woodcutters will be less happy about that. So we have now a new title, more immigration pull, and also the right to sell slaves, or the building to sell slaves, and the training grounds, which will allow us to train soldiers. So these soldiers are mostly for the sake of self-defense. So there we go. Currently, there's, though, not really a reason for anybody to raid us, because we don't have anything to steal. We are basically just a backwater province that nobody is particularly interested in. It won't stay like that forever, though, believe me. For now, we can just wait for our empire to grow. The animals are now filling up every day by one, and now the neighbors want stuff from us. You can't decline that, but it'll lower their opinion towards you, which will make it harder, again, to trade with them next time. So, well, it is quite an annoying thing, but you can't change it. It's diplomacy, and it is more vicious than ever in V66. So, let's see if we can already offer enough resources to get the trade in, but I highly doubt it. So we're going to go for the sliders like that. Oh, but it looks as if we could get lucky. Selling them fools their stuff back again, and selling some of our fine furniture, and yeah. I'm selling away basically everything I got right now, but it is worth it, because it is a permanent investment. Our food stockpiles drop now substantially, and so will, and we are going into a bit of a unstable moment now. But at the same time, we can now, as soon as our trade stockpiles are filled up again, let's see, we can now buy whatever we need from our neighbors. So we can now demand whatever resources we want from them. So we're going to demand some pottery as soon as I find it. There it goes. So we require 24 for the upgrade, but I'm going to order 30 because I want to have something on stockpile for the sake of repairs. Although I don't know if this is still a necessary thing or not. Might be fixed by now. So we're going to sell away the stone that we got. Well, wait a sec. We're going to try to fulfill the tab with wood first, because you see, stone is a non-regenerating resource on our map. Wood, on the other hand, we get back forever. So, tell you what, we're going to sell away a bit of furniture like that, and off we go. So, is there any warehouse left that has any crates open? Yeah. We're going to go here and open up a pottery. So the trades, the items from the trade will always be transported to your city automatically. It does take us a while for the trader to arrive at your city, but you see there it is. Now, what we're next doing is upgrading the food stall, and now the quality increases. So now the food stall need can finally rise to 100% because we have it fully upgraded. Now we have a real chance to fulfill that need completely inside our city, but only with upgraded food stall status. So that's the end of episode 4. We now know about science, about upgrading things, about trading in the diplomacy menu. I think that's been a great start. Next episode, I don't know yet where we are ending up. I am intrigued to go farming, but we'll see what I'll be thinking of in between. Thanks for watching, you all. Drop me your comments down below, leave a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and check out the description box. You'll find the playlist link there, alongside with my Discord server, my Twitch channel, and all the nice supporty links that you might want to check out if you feel like my work is something you want to support. I'd be more than delighted, and a big thanks to all the supporters of Icon Gaming. See you all on the next one.